I wasn't gonna record at this moment, but I figured, this might be a cool little intro to the video just to show y'all like what I'm doing. Um, I'm making Chipotle bowls because I spend entirely too much money on Chipotle in a week, more than I care to admit. And I'm trying to be a bit more frugal now. So I just went grocery shopping and we're about to cook up. We got chicken, corn, beans, everything you would get in a Chipotle bowl. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Anyway, I'll see y'all when I'm back in the office. Been a long time since we sat here and actually chatted like this. You know what? Let me bring the camera a little bit closer. We're kind of far away right now. So I there's so much to talk about. I don't even know really where to start with this. It's been 2 years since my last real upload, which seems to be a trend on this channel. I'll come back and I'll disappear for X amount of time and then be like, what's up? What's new? How are the, but I didn't want to do that. So let's just talk, let's just catch up a little bit. Easiest thing to start with, I got glasses. I found out, let's see, last year, I've known for a while now, but I actually, decided to go to an eye doctor and had this verified. But I'm like damn near blind in my left eye. It's pretty bad. My vision is terribly blurry. And for most of my life, I've kind of just been going off of shapes and colors to direct me through what I should be doing or what I should be grabbing. When I close my right eye, the vision is like decent. So like the prescription is less strong on this side. But this one, woo, boy, that shit is fucked. Another little life update. I turned 24 last year and had an extremely detrimental existential crisis about whether or not my worth on this earth is something that is due to the things that I've accomplished or if it's due to the worth that I put into myself as a person. And I had a very tough time getting a grasp on what I really value in this life. And it took me to some really dark places, and I receded from a lot of people, a lot of things, and I almost quit art entirely. I didn't really talk to too many people about that, so for anybody watching this video, it's probably going to be your first time hearing about it if you know me personally. But yeah, I almost put the pen down completely, and only through a lot of self-reflection and moments of solitude and journaling, honestly, did I find that it's something that I want to keep in my life, whether it's something that takes me far in life or not. It's something that I want as a part of my life because it's my passion. With that being said, I do want to talk about talk and draw. The last talk and draw episode that I made was less so educational as I want to kind of start to make them. I felt that way in the past because, for those of you who don't know, Talk and Draw is a series that I started on my channel a couple years ago now, where I used to tell stories and I would draw. I bring up different topics, points of conversation, whether they would be about art or about the things that I'm drawing within the video, and kind of just overlay it with a time lapse of me making something that I think is pretty cool. I do want to bring that back, though it's probably going to take some time before I make the next one, just because I do want to figure out a sort of direction with that. Speaking of direction, that's kind of like, that's a key word this video. Keep that at the back of your mind. I'm going to be saying direction a lot because I want to talk about my year 2025 in review. As it seems to be the case with a lot of different people, 2025 was a pretty tough year. For most people that I know, myself included. I went through a lot last year. I gave you a little glimpse as to what was going on with me mentally with my birthday, but at the beginning of last year, I had to attend my cousin's funeral, and that really shook me up a lot. It's something that I'm still processing. She passed at the end of the very last day of 2024, and so it was a rough start to the new year for me and a lot of people in my family. And I would say probably for the first 4 to 5 months of the year, I was dealing with just grief, overall experiencing my feelings in regards to her passing. And it made a lot of things very difficult for me, and I feel like that was sort of the start of this deep feeling of like dread and worthlessness I had within myself, that carried on up until my birthday, and things kind of turned around from that point. But we'll get there. So another thing that had happened last year is I got a new job. I've been working at this restaurant for quite some time. I've mentioned it in a couple of videos in the past, but I don't think I've ever named the place because I'm not trying to dox myself, so we're gonna keep that on the low. I left that place for about 6 months out of last year, and I ended up working at, I guess, my first office job, the best way to put it. I hated that shit. Listen, this is no offense to anybody that I worked with in the office. If you so happen to come across this video, hey, look, we're cool, just not that cool. You get me? There was a lot of low-key, not so low-key racism within the place that sort of just, rubbed me all the wrong ways. And the thing that got under my skin specifically happened on my last week there, of course. I might have to make an entire story time about that, but to keep it short, one of my coworkers at the time said something in regards to my race very directly, and I wanted to sock that nigga in the jaw. There's no other way to put it. I don't want to stay on the topic of work for too long, because outside of work there was a lot of things happening in my life, and I kind of want to touch up on that before we get into the main point and the direction of this video. Remember, I said, keep it in mind, direction. I'm gonna, hopefully when I'm editing this, I remember to put this right there in the text. If not, it's just gonna look like I'm, So, I started that job back in February of last year. Fast forward 6 months later, in August, I was on my way out, and I was gonna take 2 weeks off and then go back to the job that I'm at now, which happens to be the restaurant that I mentioned previously. As hard as it was to admit for me at the time, that did feel like a major step back, because while the office job was terrible and there was a lot of things I had to put up with that I really didn't want to, the pay was good, and that's something that I never really wanted to consider when I was making the decision to leave, because though my school schedule is, ever changing and rather hectic, they would have been willing to work with me had I, pleaded my case a little bit. But it wasn't an environment, I knew it wasn't an environment suited for me. So I decided, against my better judgment, despite the money that I was being paid there, I left. And so now I'm back where I am, and I've come to a place of acceptance about it finally. It feels like there was a huge weight lifted off of my shoulder a couple months into working at the restaurant again, just because a big part of working for me is like being able to move around and be free. And the most moving around and being free I did at that office job was getting up to go to the bathroom or walking to the convenience store on my 10-minute breaks, which it just felt like a cycle. It felt like prison. I hated that shit. Structure is good for me, but at the same time, I don't work well with it. So I had to bounce. Those are one of the many reasons. But again, enough about work. Once I left that place, I felt directionless, in the sense that I was, going back to my old job, and I felt like I didn't really have my foot in any doors that would have been beneficial for me to better my life. Because as 24 got closer and closer to me, I started having all of these thoughts about whether or not I've done anything to show for my time here on Earth. I published a book. I wasn't even seeing anything from it. And by anything from it, I wasn't seeing any money. I got a lot of people who I know personally that ordered the book, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for that. Seriously, it means a lot. Like, I care, unfortunately, I care more about sharing this idea with people than I do actually receiving anything from it. Just because it's very fulfilling for me to share like my creative endeavors with people. Like, it's something I've always loved to do. I like the validation. I like the feedback, and I like people's interpretations of my work. Like, it's all very interesting to me, because like, I don't know. It's difficult for me a lot of the time to be super vulnerable with the things that I create. So like, putting that out there into the world was like putting out a piece of myself that other people hadn't seen before. And for everybody who bought it, seriously, thank you. I appreciate it a lot. But I have only seen $9. I'll be more transparent about it because I do want to make a video about this as well. There was just a lot of lessons learned last year. In my directionless state, I went through a lot of things and had a lot of realizations both about myself and the things that I had done with my time here on this earth. Whether it was with relationships, jobs, my art, friends, everything, you know, like I started questioning everything. And then once my birthday came around, I came to a realization that I determine what is important and I am important. So I'm prioritizing myself this year. What that looks like, I'm still figuring it out, but I can say that one of the things I let go in the midst of me being so lost was this channel. A couple of days ago, I caught myself watching back some of the old videos that I made from 2022, 2023, and onward. Well, maybe not so much onward because I think I kind of disappeared after that. I found myself really enjoying the content. Not because like I don't want y'all to think I'm like self-obsessed or something, but like I make videos that I would enjoy watching, and this is one of those. So like looking back on this, I know it's something that I'm gonna like feel proud that I made, and that sense of accomplishment is something that I missed. A big part of me feeling like I hadn't accomplished anything in my life wasn't only from not having achieved anything financially, but not being able to like say like I've been there for myself. In a lot of ways, and for many people, I think I've been very reliable and there when people need me. And I'm not there all the time. Don't get me wrong. You know me personally, you know I don't pick up the phone all the time. You know I don't answer texts all the time. You know I don't respond to the posts that y'all send all the time. I do a lot. I'm a very busy person, and it's something that I feel bad about a lot of the time because like I do want to, you know, talk to people more, and like especially when people express that like they're there for me or like they want to have a conversation. I'd love to open up more. I really would, but it scares me. And it's also very easy for me to be like so caught up in work or school or drawing my comic that it's like I'm in a whirlwind of a million different things at a time. And so like the last thing on my mind is like, let me step back and actually, you know, start interacting with people. It's something that I've been trying to remind myself of since my birthday passed last year. That was another one of those realizations I had. As always, I want to thank you guys for sticking around. I've been sitting at 40 subscribers for a really long time. I don't know if y'all have like watched every video, but if you've watched any video for any amount of time that I've made, thank you, seriously, because I don't expect anybody to pay attention to these things. So I do this shit for the love of the game. Anyway, thank you for listening if you did. And until next time, peace out.